Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I have this adorable Dollar Tree DIY for you. We're going to start off with a shadow box that I picked up from Dollar Tree, popping out the back, separating the frame in its two pieces, removing the glass and setting it to the side. We won't be needing it anymore. Putting the back of it back into the frame, getting that all nice and snug, and putting that second piece back in there. Once you have this all together, we're going to get ready for paint. And today we have Waverly white chalk paint, and we're going to use 2 coats of paint on this project. Next, we have these 2 packs of Hobby Lobby wood beads, and I actually only ended up needing 1 package, so 2 was not necessary. But I did get them for half off, so I think I maybe paid like $1.50 for them. And I started out using the Dollar Tree jute twine, and you will see that it did not work out for me. I started to put my wood bead on there, but first I used some hot glue to kind of glue the end of it and kind of make it into like this fine point so that I could easily slip the bead over top of it, burning my fingers, so be careful when you do this. Slipping the bead onto the twine, and look at that. It is a mess. So that twine did not work out for me. So I ditched that jute twine and I got a different bit of string that I happen to have on hand already, making several knots with this because the holes in the beads are actually rather large. So I think I probably did about several knots in this so that they won't slip through. And then getting the wood beads on there, I think I used about 6 wood beads for this project. Once you have all your beads on there, I used a little bit of hot glue on that last bead so that it would stop moving around so I could make my knots. Several knots later, we have our string of beads. Now I'm going to leave that the 2 ends long because I need to see how I'm going to work that out. Now I have a box of Jenga blocks, also from Dollar Tree, and I grabbed 8 Jenga pieces and some super glue gel that I also picked up from Dollar Tree. And what you're going to do is that you're just going to glue these pieces together. I glued 2 by 2 at first, and I like to use the the super glue rather than the hot glue because the hot glue kind of makes it all big and bulky and doesn't seem to sit right. So I like to use the super glue. So once you get your 2 by 2 pieces together, you're going to glue them end to end. So this is creating a stand for your shadow box. And once you have all your pieces together, yeah, they might move a little bit here and there, but you're going to want to wait 10 minutes for this glue to set and dry. And once that 10 minutes is up, you just pry your piece off the paper, and there you have it. Next, we're going to use Waverly Wax paint. I think this is in truffle. Anyway, so I just put a little bit on my plate there, and I'm going to paint the stand. And I wanted to see what this paint was going to look like on the wood by itself, but it ended up being too dark. Didn't like that, so now here I am adding water. So this is a great way to kind of soften that paint up so it looks more like a stain than an actual paint. And that way you can also see the wood grain still kind of show through. So, and I really love how this turned out, and it looks really nice. And you will see later on that I do another coat with this, a little bit darker, because this doesn't end up being dark enough. So I got really impatient, so I got my heat gun out, and I just started trying to dry everything off. And as you can see, that sand is really light still, and I didn't like that, so I do go back over and paint that again. Once everything is dry, now it is time to paint our shadow box. So I get that Waverly wax paint, and I kind of have to play a little bit around with this with the water, trying to thicken it up a little bit. Like I said, that sand was a little too light, so I want it actually a little bit darker, and you really just have to play around with this until you get the desired look you're looking for. And I realize that my water is still a little too watery, so I just kind of put it on the plate and then just like add water to that. And I really do like using this bristle brush for this part, because then the lines from the bristles kind of give it that wood look. And going around the edges here, I really wish that I had grabbed some painter's tape to tape the inside of the shadow box so I wouldn't have to be so cautious to not get any of that brown paint on the inside, but I ended up not doing that, and I had to be extra careful. So then here I am. I did go back over that stain. It was a little too dark, so I just grabbed a paper towel and just wiped some of that excess off, and it turned out exactly the way I wanted it. So then here I just printed out some a PS I love you just on some regular printer paper from WordPad on my computer. I don't have a silhouette or a Cricut, so this technique that I'm about to do here is perfect for those who don't have a Cricut or a silhouette. It's a transfer technique that I learned from other YouTubers. So you just print out the font that you want and the letters. I'm actually just placing my words where I think I might want them. And then once I decide that's all good, I go ahead and take a pencil and you just rub really good on the back side of your words. And then once you have all that done, you place your lettering exactly where you want it. And then you're going to go back over the top part of it and you're going to trace exactly how the letters are. So this is a very simple, easy transfer method. You trace out your letters, every single one of them. You just do the outline of each and every letter, and the letter will actually transfer through the lead that you had on the other side onto your project. Now it's kind of hard to see in the video here, but it did transfer on there. And you're going to do the same thing to the PS. Now, once all that is said and done, I grabbed a fine tip Sharpie marker. I would have used black if I could find black. I didn't have that. The closest thing I had was like a dark navy blue, and that worked out just perfectly. So you're just going to go over all of your letters. And Sharpie marker surprisingly goes over chalk paint very well, and then you just fill those in. And there you have it. That's the letters. And it turned out super cute. Now for our string of beads, I'm going to hot glue these onto just the corner, the top corner of it. Just a little bit of hot glue on the top. And I'm going to put just a little bit of hot glue on those knots that I made. And I'm just going to hold it down until that glue sets. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Once that is set, you can clip your ends off. And I secured it a little bit more with some extra hot glue. I wanted those heavy beads to be secure. And now this is my little twist on this Hobby Lobby dupe. I am using some nautical rope that I just so happen to have on hand because the shadow box, if you can see, actually has these little tabs that aren't very pretty, and this nautical rope kind of helps hide that. And this project, I think, probably cost me about $4 to $5. I think the PS I love you sign that you can pick up from Hobby Lobby is, I think, at least like $20, maybe more, maybe a little less. But I definitely did this a little bit cheaper than what you could pick up at the store. And I really love how this turned out. Once you have all four sides done, you can clip the ends off. And for whenever I use nautical rope or twine, I like to go and singe the little hairs off of it with my lighter, being very careful not to burn your fingers. And that's it. So then here I'm making just a little bow with my jute twine. I'm going to wrap it around your fingers about 3 or 4 times. And clip the end and then grab an extra piece because you're going to use this extra piece to tie it around the middle. Now, there's all kinds of tutorials on how to make bows on YouTube. These are very, very simple, easy bows to do, and I love doing them, especially with the jute twine. I think it makes this really cute and farmhousey. And so I just clip the little tails off. And I'm just going to use a little bit of hot glue, and I'm gluing it to the top right above where the wood beads are. I know it's kind of hard to see right here. and I make a second bow, and I'm going to use some hot glue to glue it on the side there. So that is all done. So now the last thing to do is just to use some hot glue, and we're going to glue the shadow box onto our stand. Securing that into place. And there you have it. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video.